Little boys are said to be made of snakes and snails and puppy dog tails, but Bruce Gray has always been made of dreams. As a small boy, he made birthday wishes, not realizing the tremendous impact that turning dreams into reality could have on the people and things he touched in life. Today, he's known as an achiever with a vision, a people builder, a man with a heart as big as the system he represents. His leadership became evident in his first teaching job at Stigler High School when his DECA chapter was named Outstanding Chapter in the Nation and as State DECA Advisor just a few short years later. He became director of the National DECA Fundraising Drive in 1974, raising $1.5 million to build DECA's new headquarters in just 30 months. He is an organization builder, serving as Deputy Superintendent and Superintendent at Great Plains Area Vo-Tech School. He's been Superintendent of Francis Tuttle Area Vo-Tech School since 1981. Bruce is also known as a builder of people, mentoring countless vocational educators. Bruce's leadership as a builder of visions, organizations, and people shines through every day at Francis Tuttle Vo-Tech Center. Under his leadership and with the support of a visionary board, his school has become one of the premier vocational schools in the nation. It is home to the first Advanced Technology Center in Oklahoma, a computer and business center with nearly 200 networked computer workstations, one of the first business and industry service centers in the state, and one of 11 network satellite centers in the nation, providing companies with electronic access to government contract opportunities. Bruce's love for building people and systems transcends the workplace. A selfless community servant, Bruce has served as president of the Edmond Chamber of Commerce, as a board member for both the Edmond Regional Hospital and the Edmond Economic Development Authority, and as a participant and board member for Leadership Oklahoma. A friend recently said, "To know Bruce is to know a man who has helped build a whole community by his service to others." More important to Bruce than belonging to various civic organizations is his participation and commitment to action through them. While serving as AVA's Region 4 Vice President, Bruce helped create the Vocational Educator of the Year Award, an award he later received. He is also a recipient of the Francis Tuttle Career Excellence Award, presented in 1990 by the man who was named after the school, Dr. Francis Tuttle. Whether Bruce is a natural-born leader or learned the lessons of commitment and leadership early in life, the credit goes to his mother, Mrs. Sarah Callahan. Widowed when Bruce was 14 years old, she raised Bruce and his sister Judy in a loving, supportive home. Bruce has also enjoyed building his own family with his wife Pat and 3 beautiful daughters, Hillary, Courtney, and Stacy. The sign of a great leader is the desire by others to emulate him. Many leaders across the nation look to Bruce as a mentor and as a friend. It is the way Bruce Gray touches lives and produces positive results that uniquely qualifies him for Hall of Fame recognition. We all have someone in our lives we cannot imagine living without. For some, it's a parent, a spouse, or a child. For me, it's Bruce Gray. Those are the words of a former 14-year-old Stigler High School student. Bruce Gray, a builder of people, organizations, and dreams.
It's a great privilege and with a great amount of pride that I present the name of Bruce Gray for induction into the Oklahoma Vo-Tech Hall of Fame. It's fitting that Bruce's highest honor should be bestowed upon him here in Stillwater, for it was here in this community that he embarked upon his lifelong career in vocational technical education, a career that began as Bruce was a student in Gus Friedman's distributive education program at Stillwater High School back in 1961. Bruce Gray has risen to the pinnacle of his profession, building a reputation for innovation and leadership, not only here in Oklahoma, but a reputation that spans America. Bruce began teaching distributive education in 1967 in Stigler. Many teachers would have set a more reasonable goal for such an outdated program in such a small school in such a poor community. Perhaps a goal to gain enough recognition to step up to another teaching job at a larger school with a much larger budget. Not Bruce. In 4 short years, he turned Stigler's outdated distributive education program into literally the best DECA chapter in the nation. At Stigler and everywhere else, he succeeded in spite of circumstances. Nobody ever told Bruce that it couldn't be done. Bruce Gray is made up of hard work, desire, commitment, and a unique ability to get the most out of people. That magic has paid dividends for him and rewards for Oklahoma's vocational technical education system. I am truly awed by the successes he experienced at Stigler, as an administrator at Great Plains Aerial Tech School in Lawton, as state DECA advisor, as fundraising director at the National DECA headquarters, and as superintendent at both Great Plains and at Francis Tuttle Aerial Tech School. I count Bruce to be my closest friend. It's a friendship that began during our teaching careers, his at Stigler and mine at U.S. Grant High School in Oklahoma City. My career seemed to parallel his, but he was always at least a year ahead. Since he was the seasoned one, I knew I could seek his advice, and I can tell you that he's always been there for me and for hundreds of others too, to lend advice and a needed word of encouragement. I might tell you that as I was working on this a little bit today, I drew several staff members in and asked them to listen to make sure that Ralph didn't get on to me for going a little bit too long. And I had 1 or 2 stories that Bruce and I like to tell when we're together, and they really are pretty funny. When Bruce and I tell them, we at least laugh. One of the staff members said, "You ran a little bit long. Why don't you just tell them at this point that that was story number 38 and everybody can laugh?" While he was always willing to share what worked in the past, he always tried to stay just one step ahead of the rest of us. Bruce has a competitive streak that drives him to strive for perfection and excellence. He must be the first. He must be the best, and for him to finish second in fishing or hunting or in education is just not acceptable. And that drive to succeed is why he was able to raise the money for a new building to house the National DECA headquarters in Washington. Why Francis Tuttle Votech is nationally and internationally renowned for its innovation and creativity, and why it's in the vanguard of the interactive distance learning movement. He has built his reputation being one of Oklahoma's vocational technical education's true visionaries, finding emerging needs and meeting them long before any of the rest of us have even identified them. I've long admired Bruce's ability to hire the right people and then empower them to do the job he hired them to do. Those he mentored during his vocational technical education career, Shelby Garrison Herman, Marianne Prentice, Ray Jean McCall, Mike Bailey, Tom Friedemann, Leo Presley, and scores of others, many of whom are in this room, will testify to the role Bruce played in building their professional careers. We'll all quickly tell you that Bruce was there for us during the good times and during the tough times as well, providing support and encouragement when things didn't go exactly as planned. We'll all tell you that Bruce really gets excited about his school and can tell wonderful stories today even about what's happening in the classrooms in that institutions. And we'll all tell you that Bruce's enthusiasm serves as a constant motivation for everyone to do their very best every single day. While Bruce has established a number of firsts in his professional career, he also has a number of firsts in his private life as well. Few of you may realize, for example, that Bruce owned and wore the first leisure suit in vocational education. perhaps his greatest failure was that he could never get the leisure suit to quite take hold. Bruce also served as the very first president of the Buck Owens Fan Club in Oklahoma, crooned country music long before any of us thought it was cool, and became a true pro at 10-4ing everybody on the CB radio, just like a long-distance trucker. It's a willingness to poke fun at himself and his memorable peals of laughter when he does so that has endeared Bruce Gray to his fellow vocational education colleagues and to all of his friends. For Bruce Gray, the last 28 years in vocational education have been quite a journey. He's experienced legendary success, built hundreds of friendships, but has still managed to stay the same old Bruce. He has truly become a benchmark for all of Oklahoma vocational education to measure against. Bruce Gray, a remarkable educator, a remarkable man, a remarkable friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Bruce Gray.
Dang, Roy, I wish you wasn't told that one about the leisure suit. I'll be very brief tonight and tell you that how humbling an experience it is to be in the present company of the outstanding educators that have been named to this Hall of Fame, and those that have been inducted tonight and the ones before me. But it's even more special to have a longtime colleague and friend like Roy Peters to do the introduction, and I really appreciate that. I thought a lot about what I would say tonight, and I guess everybody measures the success of their careers in different ways. But I like to think it's not as much as awards that have been won or buildings built or objectives that have been accomplished or programs that have been developed. But just a few weeks ago, a good friend of mine and a member of my Leadership Oklahoma class, by the way, class 5, that's the only class there was, Jenny Krevlin called me and said, you know, in the end, most people don't say, I wish I'd have spent more time at work. And what it's really all about is developing relationships. And I really believe that's true. A long time ago when I first started, and my mentor and motivational leader, not just for myself, but for many people in this room tonight, Dr. Lucille Patton, who you've met, she gave me a little piece of advice, which I always followed. And she said, Bruce, she said, if you'll surround yourself with enough smart people, they'll make you look good. I should have been insulted when she said that. But you know, she never took her own advice, and you know why? Those of you that have ever had a class with Dr. Patton know this. She never could find anybody smarter than she was. Well, in the late 70s when I first got into administration, that's exactly what I did. And we had a young group of people, Tom Friedemann, Ray Jean McCall, and Mike Bailey. Mike's now president of a college in Alabama. Of course, Tom is assistant state director, and Ray Jean's here tonight. And we just didn't know any better, so we just pressed on, and we made ourselves look good, but we established a relationship that was the foundation for everything that I did further on in my career. And it's really interesting because just last week, I sat for about 45 minutes and talked to Ray Jean McCall for the first time in 15 years. And she wrote me a little note later and said, you know, it just took us 45 minutes to catch up on 15 years, and that's what it's all about. And then when we moved on to Francis Tuttle and the challenges there, and my good friend Dr. Gene Callahan, who I worked with, and of course Gene is now superintendent of Tulsa Technology Center. And then right after Gene, Kay Martin, who is a little bit different twist, because I think I've learned more from Kay than I ever taught her. But these are the reasons why we move forward. I say tonight that there's people in this room, and there's a lot of them here, a lot of them that I know, and I appreciate so much all of you coming. There are people that I've laughed with and cried with and disagreed with and argued with and hunted with and fished with, and lifelong friends, Tom Curd and Tom Kinnick, and who were raised here in Stillwater together. We used to come to the student union after Sunday school and eat and run them down the hallways. I'm a little bit disappointed, though. I don't think he's here, but I also have my personal hunting guide, Dr. Earl Cowan. He told me he was going to be here, but I think he got lost, and that's not real good for somebody that's a hunter. Is Earl here? Oh, there you are. My own personal fishing guide and longtime friend, Paul Preston, came here tonight, so you two get together and see where you're going to take me next. Also, a very special group of people, and the greatest human relations activity that I've ever been involved in Leadership Oklahoma, and my classmates that are here tonight, thank you. Yeah, a few of them made it. I guess the point I'm saying is who I am and what I've achieved in my professional career has been shaped by these relationships. And that maybe the best thing you can say about anybody is that they were a change maker or a change agent, and the result of that was positive. That change was positive. The ability to make change and take risks and move an organization forward comes from people that you work with. And I can tell you a very simple mix to guarantee you success. And that mix will tell you that no matter what visions you have and no matter what you do as a leader, they're nothing unless, first of all, you have a support mechanism around you. And certainly I've always been very fortunate, even at Great Plains, and I saw Chris Zatkowski and Jim Nesbitt here tonight, and people that I work with there. But first it starts with a Board of Education that allows you to say, get out there and push that envelope. Get out there and do things, and if we make a mistake, we'll just cut our losses and go on down the road. And my board is here tonight. Bob Turner, original board member, Bruce Moran, Dave Brown, Buddy Sanford, and our attorney, Jerry Stewart. These are the people that have always pushed and said, we can do it, and go after it. You take that mix and add a staff that can make it happen. And I took your advice, Dr. Patton, and I just surrounded myself with hundreds of people that were smart. And these people certainly are people that can make it happen. Probably I've been inducted tonight more because we own a Silver Eagle bus and brought a bunch of people with us, and this is a fundraiser, so. But you add the last ingredient of that, and that is the resources to make it happen. And you have our Francis Tuttle family, and I would just like to say, family, hold your hand up and let me applaud you for being, all of you, Francis Tuttle. Hold your hand up so we can see who you are. Susan Hardy Brooks gave me a book not too long ago called Never Confuse a Memo with Reality. And has some great sayings, and Judy Harris, who's the person that keeps Kay and I straight on a daily basis, came in one day all excited about this saying. She said, this is just great. And the saying goes like this: for every door that closes in life, another one opens, but man, those hallways are a bitch. Well, I guess the people that I want to say that stood in a lot of those hallways with me over the years are my family. And I'm particularly appreciative of my mother and stepfather, sister and brother-in-law, my in-laws, my 3 kids, and the person that's been in more hallways than any, and it's really a bitchy moment, is my best friend and my wife, Pat. You know, there are two types of people in this world, in closing, that are those that are energy givers and those that are energy takers. Most of you have energized me, and I truly appreciate that. You know, in vocational education, we're in a unique opportunity to touch the lives of people every day because we truly are in the people business. I've been so blessed with the opportunity to build these relationships, and that's what it's all about. And as Jeannie said, in the big scheme of things, those personal relationships are what really matters. This is such a great honor, and thank you all very much.